Alright guys, we're back with another data download, this time bringing us AGL LR Jiren, finally, Carnival LR Tech SSJ3 Go Tanks, some World Tournament Awakenings EZAs, ESBR Stage 65 Space Traveling Warriors. We're finally getting the last 5-6 stages for Supreme Magnificent Battle, which is going to bring the Go Freezer fight, Burst Mode for Pure Destruction and Carnage, World Tournament 56, a Trade Jewel and Ticket, and the final Global L before both versions are fully 100% synced up. And that is because we're going to be getting 2 Divine Dragon Carnival banners on Global. And this celebration, funnily enough, is called Fully Unified Celebration. And the 2 Divine Dragon Carnival banners are for, of course, Carnival LR Go Tanks and then Carnival LR Jiren. So Global aren't going to put both of them onto one banner. I did think it was going to be highly unlikely. I did think it was a sick idea, but they are going to release them both, I think, at the same time on separate banners. Here's the scheduling right now. We're getting the World Tournament EZAs and Dokkan Awakening for Android 17 in a day and 15 hours time for me on the 13th. And then both Go Tanks and Jiren are going to be coming tomorrow at 5 o'clock for me. And unfortunately, both of their separate banners. First, we're going to go through 17's Dokkan Awakening. So he will raise attack and defense by 30% on super for 1 turn, cause supreme damage to the enemy and greatly lower his attack. Starts the turn with attack and defense plus 170, has a 50% chance to dodge, will then gain an additional attack and defense plus 170 and a chance to evade plus 17%. When performing a super attack, he will then gain an additional attack plus 100% and defense plus 70%, and launches an additional attack, has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack, and there's another androids or artificial life forms category ally attacking in the same turn. Androids category allies will gain key plus 1, attack plus 30% and defense plus 20%, and artificial life forms category allies key plus 1, attack plus 30% and defense plus 20%. It's a very bog standard unit. I mean, all of the dodge chance is quite nice, and then the support is nice, especially for both units that are on androids and artificial life forms. Outside of that, kind of just meh. As I said, very bog standard. Then we have Kid Pan. This will be an EZA. She'll raise attack by 30% for 4 turns, greatly raise defense by 50% for 1 turn, cause supreme damage to the enemy and seal. Starts the turn with attack and defense plus 200%, has a 50% chance to dodge, will then gain an additional attack and defense plus 100% and a chance to evade enemy's attack plus 20% within the same turn before receiving an attack. It will then gain an additional attack and defense plus 150 for 5 turns after evading an attack. Key plus 3, all attacks become crits, launch a additional attack. There's a 50% chance of becoming a super attack as the first attacker on a turn. She'll then launch an additional super attack as the second or third attacker on a turn. Then she'll then gain 100% attack when a target enemy super attack is sealed. So not too bad for an EZA. Again, another dodge unit. High risk, high reward by putting her in slot 1. Then we have 18, who will cause supreme damage to the enemy. Raise attack and defense by 50% for 3 turns. I think this SA effect's really nice. She'll then gain or start the turn with key plus 3, attack and defense plus 180. Launch an additional attack. There's a 30% chance of becoming a super. Then gain an additional attack and defense plus 180 for 3 turns after receiving an attack, has a 50% chance to dodge, and then will gain an additional attack plus 180, launch an additional attack that has a 30% chance of becoming a super attack, 3 turns after evading, and then she'll then launch an additional super attack when there is another android category ally on the team. Grandpa Gohan will raise defense by 30% for 1 turn, cause supreme damage to the enemy and greatly lowers defense. Starts the turn with attack and defense plus 150, gains key plus 3 plus an additional attack and defense plus 150 when there's an ally or enemy whose name includes Goku Youth, which unfortunately there isn't really any good ones right now, so you're going to be missing out on that a bunch. He'll then have a 50% chance to dodge. All of these EZAs and Dokkan Awakenings just have dodge. Literally just like a copy and paste right now. He'll then gain an additional chance of evading enemies' attack plus 15% for 1 turn from the character's entry. Then gain an additional chance of evading enemies' attack plus 5% per DB Saga category allies and attacking in the same turn. Then gain another additional chance of evading enemies' attack plus 5%, starting from the turn in which the character evades the 5th attack in battle. Will then gain an additional chance of evading enemies' attack plus 8%, starting from the turn in which the character evades the 8th attack in battle. Then he'll gain an additional attack and defense plus 150 and have a 50% chance to crit for 5 turns after evading an attacked enemy's attack minus 30% for 2 turns. Now, all of the extra dodge chance is nice. However, you can't stack it all together. Like, this is 1 turn. This is per ally in the same turn. This is 5% starting from the turn in which the character evades his 5th attack, and then this one from the 8th attack. I mean, you can technically stack all of these together, which is what, like an extra 15, 20, 28% on top of 50, so 78% in total. Now, if you kept this, then Grandpa Gohan would actually be pretty nice. Outside of everything else, just loads of dodge chance. It'll be pretty insane. But then moving on to the main unit that is coming out alongside Gotenks, and that is Jiren, who is finally dropping on Global, just unfortunately on a separate banner to Gotenks. Now, we did go through his details a while ago, but just because he is coming very soon, we're going to go over him once again because it has been a while. We already went over Gotenks' details yesterday, so I'm not going to go over them again. But could you imagine how stacked the Carnival LR banner would have been with, say, Gotenks, Jiren, and like a couple of other LRs? That's probably why they left them separate. But Jiren on 12 key will raise attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn, cause cross damage to the enemy. On 18 key will greatly raise attack and defense by 50% for 1 turn, cause Megaloss damage to the enemy, and have a 50% chance to stun. Starts turn with key plus 8, attack and defense plus 350. But then disable the attacked enemy's action once within the turn for 1 turn from the character's entry. Reduces damage received by 50%, which is nice. Will then gain an additional attack and defense plus 50% when attacking, and then have a 70% chance to crit, plus an additional attack plus 100%, and an additional damage reduction of 11% as the 2nd or 3rd attacker in the turn. And of course will work very well on the Universe Survival Saga team with the likes of Tech UI, Strength UI, EZA AGL UI, SSBE, etc, etc. One of the best units you can link in with is EZA Tech LR Jiren. That rotation is still going to work well. It's just unfortunately with it taking so long for Global to drop Jiren and the meta not moving too much but slightly shifting, Tech Jiren has aged ever so slightly. So there is going to be that small asterisk by that rotation. But then we go into his standby, where he's unable to attack. He does gain 350% defense, all allies key plus 3, damage reduction by 50% with each key sphere obtained, plus an additional damage reduction of 11%. He'll then gain an additional defense plus 100% when receiving an attack, and then randomly change key spheres of a certain type to AGL key spheres, and all allies attack plus 70% for 2 turns when the character is the 2nd or 3rd to obtain key spheres in a turn. So a very good standby, if I do say so myself. Got to show you the actual standby conditions. He will stand by for 5 turns, during which charge count increases by 1 per key sphere obtained by allies, and the conditions can be activated starting from the 3rd turn from the character's entry turn. So the usual standby process, but then also turn 3, so you can get his standby ready to go very, very quickly. So Jiren does have 2 finish skills. If the character's standby mode ends and you don't get the transformation, Jiren will gain key plus 3 and attack plus 30% for 3 turns, and this can be activated when charge count is 24 or less. But then if you do get the charge count you're looking for and go for the transformation, he will awaken into Jiren full power, and this can be activated when charge count is 25 or more. Then when you transform into full power Jiren on 12 key, will greatly raise attack by 50% and raise defense by 30% for 1 turn. This is a full 1 turn, it's just the attack is 50%, whereas the defense is 30. On 18 key, will massively raise attack by 100% and raise defense by 30% for 1 turn. You do also have a guaranteed stun. It will start the turn with key plus 11 and attack and defense plus 400%. Reduces damage received by 60%. Then will gain an additional damage reduction of 11% and foresee enemy super attack for 1 turn from the character's entry turn. So that first appearance after the standby, Jiren is insane. You have 71% damage reduction along with a Scouter, which with how difficult the Go Freezer fight can be and how hard it can hit, and also Janemba, that could be a big help. Even if only for 1 turn, that can be a big help at how you pan out the rest of your rotations to give yourself even more of a chance to survive. You'll then gain an additional attack and defense plus 111% when attacking, have a 70% chance to crit, and with each super attack performed, plus an additional chance of performing a crit plus 11%. So good damage reduction, high numbers, good SA effects, and also going to have built-in crit and a ton of it so he's always going to be doing good amounts of damage to enemy health bars. He'll then gain an additional attack plus 50%. Attacks are guaranteed to hit, and he'll perform a crit when key is 24, so that crit is guaranteed. And he'll then gain an additional attack plus 50% with each super attack received. So overall, Jiren is looking very, very good. Again, just like the Tech EZA, would have been a little bit better if he did come out a bit earlier. I'm not saying he's completely fallen off, but just naturally with these types of games, the longer it takes for a unit to come out, especially when it came to JP already having them, then global waiting, there's always going to be a slight shift in power scaling. In terms of links, he has Supreme Warrior, Shocking Speed, Infighter, Godly Power, Tournament Power, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, and he does go on Universe 11, Universe Survival Saga, Realm of Gods, Full Power, Transformation Boost, Space Traveling Warriors, Powerful Comeback, and Defenders of Justice, Battle of Fate, Tournament Participants, and Super Bosses. And that is everything in this data download. Can't lie, I'm very much looking forward to Carnival LR Gotenks, although I don't really have the stones for him, but I do actually really want him because he looks very good. Animations are amazing, and that 200% lead is very, very solid. Jiren's finally coming out, which is great. We're finally getting the final stages of the Supreme Magnificent Battle, and more importantly, specifically, the Go Frieza fight. It's just taken so long to do it, and it's a massive shame that they're going to be putting both Gotenks and Jiren on separate banners. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know if you're going to be summoning for either Gotenks or Jiren, or even both. But I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a great day, and peace.